Your financial operating system was installed before you were old enough to question it. Your parents gave you some of it. Teachers gave you some of it. A few corporations spent real money making sure the rest got in there. And right now, today, that operating system is running in the background, quietly, costing you money you don't know you're losing. By the end of this video, you'll know the exact dollar cost of the beliefs you inherited without choosing them. Not a feeling, a number, a specific six-figure number. We're going to run a scan, 10 beliefs, name each one, find who installed it, show you what it's costing, and replace it with one line of better code. This is not a finance class. This is a virus scan. Let's go. Lie number 1, debt is always bad. Pay it all off before you invest. You've heard this, probably from someone who loves you. They weren't completely wrong, but they were missing the most important word in personal finance. The word is rate. Debt is not one thing. Credit card debt at 22% and a student loan at 6.39% are not the same decision, not even close. At 22%, paying off that credit card is a guaranteed 22% return on your money. You cannot beat that. Burn it. Fast. But a student loan at 6.39? The S&P 500 has averaged 10% a year over 30 years. The gap between 6.39 and 10 is 3.5 points in your favor every year you invest while carrying that loan. The math doesn't say debt is fine. The math says these are two completely different problems with two completely different answers. The lie isn't that debt is dangerous. Some of it absolutely is. The lie is treating all debt as one thing, which turns a math problem into a feeling. And feelings are expensive. New code, compare the rate. That's the whole framework. The rate tells you what to do, not the category. Lie number 2. Your savings account is keeping your money safe. Your bank is paying you, right now, roughly 0.39% per year. That's the national average. If you've got $15,000 in that account, you're earning about $59 a year. High-yield savings accounts are sitting at 4%. Same FDIC insurance, same liquidity. You'd earn $600 on that same $15,000. The gap, $541 every year, just gone. Here's the part that should bother you more. Your bank takes that $15,000, lends it out at 7 or 8% on mortgages, and pockets the spread. On your money alone, they're making close to $1,000 a year and handing you $59. I kept 12 grand parked in a regular account for 8 months. I thought I was being responsible. The word for what I was actually being is free. Free money for the bank. Chase is not confused about what they're doing. Wells Fargo is not confused. They are counting on you not knowing the difference between 0.39 and 4%. That invisible gap is the business model. New code. Your emergency fund belongs in a high-yield savings account. Same access. The bank just stops winning. Lie number 3. A house is always a good investment. Your parents bought a house. It probably did well. They weren't wrong. The economy they bought into had different rates, different appreciation, different prices. The lie isn't that they made a bad call. The lie is that their rule automatically applies to you. Let's run the number nobody runs. $400,000 house, 20% down, 80 grand. Finance 320 at 6.5% for 30 years. Total paid to the bank, 728 grand. Of that, 408,280 is pure interest, not principal, interest. Add the realtor fees, buying and selling, call it 40 grand combined. Property taxes at 1.1% per year over 30 years, 132,000. Maintenance at 1% per year, another 120,000. All-in cost to own a $400,000 house for 30 years, over $1 million. Which means for the house to break even on total cash out, not profit, just break even, it needs to be worth more than $1 million in 30 years. That is not a guarantee. That is a bet. Owning can be the right call for a dozen good reasons. The lie is the word always, which means you're not running the math. You're running a belief that makes money for the National Association of Realtors and the mortgage industry every time you buy. New code. A house can be a good investment. Run the actual numbers first. Lie number 4. You need a financial advisor to invest. Edward Jones, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, the whole ecosystem has a problem. A $30 a year index fund can outperform most actively managed portfolios over a 30-year window. That's not an opinion. That's the data. Their problem. If you know that, you don't need them. So the solution is complexity. More products, more jargon, more of a sense that this is too complicated for you to handle yourself. The complexity is not accidental. The complexity is the product. It exists to justify the fee. The fee, 1% of assets under management per year. On 100,000, year one, $1,000. Manageable sounding. But here's the catch. As your portfolio grows, the fee grows with it. Over 30 years. 100,000 at 8% gross grows to just over $1 million. At 7%, 8 minus the fee, it grows to 761,000. The difference, $245,000. $245 handed to someone to manage money that an index fund handles for $30 a year. VTI, one fund, entire US stock market, 3 to 0.04% annual cost. Often holds the exact same assets as the managed portfolio. Different price tag. New code. One index fund. Auto invest. Done. The advisor is optional. The fee is not. Lie number 5. Investing is basically gambling. I believe this. So instead of buying a boring index fund, I bought individual stocks based on things I read on the internet. Lost $3,200 in 4 months, which, as it turns out, is what actually gambling looks like. Roughly 4 in 10 Americans have no money in the market at all, not broke, scared. They watched 2008, watched 2020, and concluded the market is a casino. And look, I get it, the market looks terrifying from the outside. Here's what that belief actually costs. $200 a month at 10% for 30 years, $452,000. Same $200 a month in a savings account, $73,000. Gap, $378,000. But the number that should really bother you, and this one gets me every time I run it, start 5 years late. Not never, just late. 25 years instead of 30. Same $200 a month, same rate, just 5 years shorter. You end up with $265,000 instead of $452,000. The cost of 5 years of hesitation, $186,000, not eventually, specifically. The index isn't the casino. The casino is the one they built for you with the individual ticker symbols, the Reddit threads, the hot tips. The index fund is a bet on the entire US economy over decades. That's not a lottery ticket. That's arithmetic. New code. The index fund is the opposite of gambling. It's the boring thing that actually works. Lie number 6, more income means more wealth. I started at $42,000 a year. Every raise I got, I spent. Lifestyle crept up to meet the new number within about 90 days. Every time. The income went up, the savings rate didn't move. Here's what that costs you. Person A earns $55,000, saves 10%, $5,500 a year invested. Person B earns $85,000, 55% more, but lifestyle has inflated and they're saving 5%, $4,250 a year. At 10% for 20 years, person A builds $315,000, person B builds $243,000, person B earns 55% more income, has $72,000 less wealth. The raise didn't build wealth. The savings rate did. Income is raw material. Savings rate is the conversion rate. Every raise you've ever gotten, what happened to your monthly expenses in the 90 days after? That answer is the whole ball game. New code. When income goes up, savings rate goes up first. Everything else is optional. Lie number 7. Your credit score is your most important financial number. The credit score measures one thing, your attractiveness as a borrower. It tells lenders how safely they can lend to you, which is another way of saying how profitably. FICO. Equifax, the whole scoring system exists to serve lenders, not you. An 8 to 100 credit score means you are their ideal customer. You pay reliably, you carry balances at a rate that generates interest without default, you are maximally profitable to the credit industry. That is not the same thing as being financially secure. You can have an 8 to 100 score and a negative net worth. You can be a perfect credit customer and be completely broke. New code. Know your net worth. Assets minus liabilities. That's the number that measures your actual financial health. The credit score is their report card on you, not yours on yourself. Lie number 8. Your emergency fund belongs in a savings account. This is the only lie on the list where the behavior is completely right and only the location is wrong. Having an emergency fund liquid, accessible, 3 to 6 months of expenses, that is correct. That is not the lie. The lie is keeping it at 0.39% when 4% exists, is equally liquid, and is FDIC insured. You're doing the right thing. You're just parking it at the wrong address. $15,000 in a regular savings account, $59 a year. In a high yield account, $600. Gap, $541 annually. Over 10 years compounded, several thousand gone because the bank knew you wouldn't move it. The 0.39% rate isn't an accident, it's a product. New code, same fund, same amount, same liquidity, different address. Takes 20 minutes to open. Lie number 9, work hard and you'll get rich. My father worked 60 hours a week for 30 years. Immigrant. He did everything the script said. The work ethic wasn't wrong, the strategy was. Nobody told him the difference. And he never stopped working. The system didn't fail to teach him this by accident. A workforce that understands asset ownership asks harder questions. The confusion, and I mean this is useful to the people who benefit from it, in a lot of professional services, consulting, IT, staffing a company bills a client somewhere in the range of $175 to $250 an hour for work performed by someone earning a fraction of that, call it 15 to 20 cents of every dollar of value generated. Hard work in that structure makes the entity richer. It makes you more valuable to the entity. It does not by itself make you wealthy. The solution is not cynicism. The solution is ownership. Assets that generate value while you sleep. An index fund is ownership. A piece of a business is ownership. Labor is the entry ticket. Asset ownership is the actual game. New code, work hard and own something. Both, not one or the other. Lie number 10, I'm just not a money person. No dollar amount here. Because this isn't a financial lie, it's a psychological one. And it's the most expensive belief on the list because it's the one that kept the other 9 unchallenged. I'm just not a money person sounds like a personality trait. Something fixed, something you were born with. You don't try to change your personality, you accept it. That's exactly why it's so durable. But you weren't born this way. You were told this. At some point, probably when you were young enough that it just went in, someone communicated that money was complicated, or scary, or for other people, or not something your family talked about. Maybe explicit, more often just the silence, the topic that never came up. And look, that silence wasn't an accident either. And then you got older, and the system confirmed it. The jargon, the products with 37 pages of terms. The advisors who made you feel like you needed them. The complexity that seemed to require a professional and, frankly, who has the time. That complexity was not accidental. It was built. A confused middle class is a profitable middle class, profitable for the banks charging you 39/100ths while they lend your money at 8, profitable for the advisors charging a percent of everything you've built, profitable for everyone who needs you to stay on the participation side of the system without ever understanding the rules. You being not a money person is worth billions to the entities that benefit from your disengagement. You're watching this video. That's the update installing. Not a finance class, not a self-improvement arc, just the scan ran. You know what was in it. None of these beliefs survive contact with the actual math. Not one. They survive confusion, busyness, the sense that this is too complicated for right now, but not the math. The math is what they didn't want you to run. You ran it. Pull up your bank app after this video and find your savings APY. If it's under 1% and the national average is 39/100ths, so it probably is you're paying the lie. Search best high-yield savings accounts, pick a mainstream one at 4%, move the money, 20 minutes, $541 a year on 15 grand. That's the first one. If you have a financial advisor, find out what you're actually paying. Not the dollar amount, the percentage. It'll be buried in your account agreement or your quarterly statement. If it's 1% or above, you now have the math to understand what that costs you over 30 years. If you have a 401k, look up the expense ratios on the funds you're holding. Anything above 0.5%, you have options. The index fund exists. It's cheaper. It often performs better. The third move is the framework from lie number 1. List every debt you carry with the interest rate next to it, just that column of numbers. That column is the whole decision. Anything above 10%, pay it down aggressively. Anything below, have a real conversation with yourself about whether you're solving the right problem or whether that money should be working somewhere else while you hold the debt. 3 moves, none of them complicated, all of them things the system was counting on you not doing.